Hey, good morning, everybody. It is great to be back with you all here for the morning briefing with Friedman Adventures. Albacore, very near the California border. Kelp patty action for the most part. Still torrid with some great fishing going on. Some local bass fishing starting to pick up, and there's a lot more, including a great sea bass bite on board the Pride, and so much more here on the morning briefing. You know, I got so many messages yesterday from people saying, hey, what happened to the rooster? And yesterday when I was editing the morning briefing, I don't know why, I just forgot the rooster. So the rooster was back today. I'm happy to hear him crowing. I'm happy to hear that you missed the rooster. That was a lot of fun. In the show description today, and I'll try to do it every day, are our remaining charters for 2022. So you might want to jump on board either the Malihini, we're going again with Bill on August the 19th, and then we've got a great two-day trip on the Amigo. I think 3 spots left now on the Amigo. That is going August the 31st for 2 days, and then we finish up with 2 great two-day trips on board the Pride. You know how hot Sean Roberts and crew have been on board the Pride. You're going to want to take advantage of that. Come on out and fish with us, and if you book before the middle of August, I think it is, you can save some money. It's a great trip, all meals included. You're gonna love it. So go to the show description, send me a text, and I'll get you all tuned up for sure. All right, Tommy Holland, he's monitoring the Albacore situation. I know he's feeling like, oh my God, is this gonna be another year when they don't bite here in Southern California, as we predicted. And many of you feel, and yours truly also, that our prediction is going up in smoke. But if you look at things, it seems like everything's about a month late this year. It just acts like that, with the exception of that Yellowfin tuna, which isn't biting, so you can make the case that that's still either late or on time. It seems like everything is late, and commercial boats are pounding the Albacore up there in Oregon, but moving awfully close to the California border. You never know if those things are going to submarine in here and start to bite. And of course, we're watching that for you very, very closely. All right, let me take you down to Ensenada, where there's still some very good fishing for the pongeros down there. If you love the ambience of northern Baja California, you're going to love going to Ensenada or Rosarito or Tecate or Tijuana, wherever it is you want to go. It's so much fun to drive down there. And then when you can get on a ponga with your best friend or two or a family member, and it's just the 2 or 3 of you, man, there's nothing better than catching bluefin tuna. And they are still getting them down there. Nice fishing on the bluefin, mostly trolling the Mad Mac lures. That has been the preferred method to take bluefin in the 20 to 100 plus pound category. Still some excellent fishing. And of course, they have available to them, the pongeros out of Ensenada, they have available to them kelp patty fish, and we'll get into that in a moment, but that variety is definitely there on the kelps off the northern Baja area, and also pushing up into Southern California. So things are looking really good. All right, let's get in to what's going on out of San Diego. And all the boats on day trips leaving at 6 a.m., overnight trips, even 2-day trips are focusing on the kelp patty action because it is so darn good. I mean, getting limits of Yellowtail in a couple of hours and then focusing your attention on bluefin and maybe more dorado and trying to get those yellowfin tuna to bite has been what has been going on in San Diego. But those kelp patty fish are voracious. They come off the kelp and they want to bite everything you throw at them. Surface iron, poppers, and of course a fly line bait. Something like 30 or 40 pound fluorocarbon, www.opsonusa.com. Put in FA at checkout and you'll get a handwritten note as well as a free gift from Gray Brown from Opson. But it's really been quite good on those kelps. I mean, outstanding action. And there's a lot of bluefin in that same area. They've been reluctant to bite in most cases. Some days they turn on a little bit, some days they don't, some days they bite for 1 or 2 boats, some days they don't bite for the other guys. So it's been a little bit crazy. Ben Okazaki. You know, I know Ben, or have known Ben for many, many years. I used to go on the Southern Cal out of Pier Point Landing in Long Beach. Ben was running the boat. I don't know if you could meet a nicer guy. I mean, he's so down to earth. He's so humble. He's such a soft-spoken, nice man. And I got to tell you, there he is with a nice fish on board the Islander. Robert Tressler was on the Excalibur and reported limits of yellowtail. Robert said mostly 12 to 25 pound forks, and that is nice grade kelp patty yellowtail fishing. And Robert said you can get them on the iron, fly line, and a bait. Also very, very effective. Really good fishing down there. Remember, when you slide up on that kelp, you can go up to the bow and throw an iron on it and hang the first fish on the kelp. It's a lot of fun, and I know Jeff Yeomans over at 540 Slingers is drinking his coffee on his morning break going, that's right, Phil. I mean, those guys love to fish the iron, and they do such a great job. Legend limits a yellowtail, 12 dorado, seeing yellowfin tuna. Old Glory on an overnight trip with a $1.05 on a yellowtail and 31 dorado. The San Diego on a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. trip, man, they ran over foamer after foamer after foamer of bluefin tuna. Like we did the other day on the Malihini. We didn't get a fish on board, as you well know. On board the San Diego, they got 3 of those bluefin on the deck. Man, they are very fickle right now. Most of the time you get on them and they sink out and they don't bite. But in some cases you're able to hang them, and there's some nice fish. There's that, 20 to 40 pound stuff, but there's that 100+ pound stuff. So once again, the admonition to bring some heavy tackle. You definitely want to have a 2-speed reel. We love Daiwa. Make sure you get your Daiwa gear. Get out there, tackle these fish, and with Daiwa, you hook the fish of a lifetime. You're going to achieve what you set out to do and catch your trophy dream fish. Keep that in mind. It's so important. Some heavy tackle in addition to that 30, 40 pound rod that we suggested to you. So really nice fishing going on, no question about it. Kelps are still loaded up. There are misses every single day. You don't find that right kelp and you can be in some trouble. But for the most part, really great fishing going on out of SD, down there in northern Baja. It is outstanding. So we'll keep our eyes on it. And no, I have not thrown in the towel on the Albacore yet. I know it's getting late, it's getting dicey, but as I mentioned previously, perhaps things are just late this year. Perhaps they're still going to show up. Somebody asked me the other day, because those fish are moving down to the California border, is your prediction correct if they show up in Morro Bay in the fall? Boy, I'm so tempted to say yes, but that would be disingenuous of me. I said SoCal. I said at least hundreds of albacore. So fingers crossed that that might very well still come together. All right, let me get you to the island situation. Let's talk Todos Santos right there off of Ensenada. Getting out there with a Lucky Craft, some great calico bass fishing, nice big bass at the islands, good barracuda, some bonita, a few yellowtail, and good bottom fishing going on in that neck of the woods. Coronado Islands, most everybody's driving by there, but they shouldn't be, because conditions have rebounded at the islands. We're seeing very good yellowtail fishing. Once again, those yellows in the 15 to 25 pound class, mostly on that fly line bait. Sometimes when it's a little bit finicky, or you catch a day where they're not biting, or it's that the bite hasn't intensified to the point where they're eating the heavy, you can drop down to some lighter line. And I know I say it a lot, but it's so important. Choose a good hot bait, change that bait regularly, and you are going to be in for some great fishing. I'm looking up the beach here because I see some surf fishing guys, and a little bit later this morning, before our live broadcast tonight, I'm going to do some surf fishing here in Surfside with my dear friend Captain Eddie Leland, and Bob Gifford, I believe, will be joining us, another friend of mine who was on board the Malihini for the latest trip. So looking forward to that. And of course, if we do anything at all, I will be back here today with a surf fishing update. Looking forward to doing that. All right, back to the islands. Getting carried away. The Freedom Fishing San Clemente Island, sometimes San Nicolas Island, sometimes Santa Barbara Island. But yesterday they had a few yellows, but overall a slower day. They're dealing with sea lions, and the bite here at our local islands has been just so inconsistent this year. It really has. On board the Thunderbird, they had a group of novice anglers, and they ended up with 12 yellowtail. Not bad at all. Limits of calico bass. Remember the other day, Tino Valentine telling us that the calico bass bite is like summertime right now. It's the best he's seen, and that is evidenced by the Thunderbird. And a comment about the novice anglers on board the T-Bird and getting 12 yellows and limits of calico bass. There are some very good teachers on that boat. That's what I love to see. What I hate to see is a group of novice anglers and the captain saying, these guys didn't know what they're doing, therefore we caught nothing today. I mean, okay, so these guys walked on board the Thunderbird, really didn't know what was going on, and all of us are ignorant in some facet of life. Some of us, me, more than others, but you can tell a great boat when you get novice anglers on there and you pop out a nice score like that. That is really great to see. Pride yesterday, who knows where Sean Roberts wandered off to. I could take a guess. It was going to either be Santa Barbara or San Nicolas Island. By the way, the weather in the coming weeks is going to be very, very nice. There's going to be some 20-knot winds at Nicholas Wednesday-ish. Channel Islands are going to have a little breeze, but nothing that will prohibit some really great fishing. So keep that in mind. Looks like a good weather week, and the further south you go, the better it gets. The further north, it gets a little breezy, but nothing out of control in this breezy year that we've been looking at. Nice shot on board the Pride, as usual. Chase Fisher, he was on board. He had some sea bass. In fact, they hooked about 25 white sea bass on the Pride, got 13 fish, 4 halibut, some yellowtail to go along with it. Dan Morales and Valerie Martinez grace the cover of today's show, and you can see Valerie there with a really nice sea bass. Congratulations, Valerie, on a great catch on board the Pride. And don't forget, we've got two-day trips this fall. When the weather is at its best in SoCal, that's when you find your best weather in the fall, and the fishing could be off the hook. I like the fact that we have not had boats parked on Tanner and Cortez all year long this year, because those giant yellowtail out there could get on the bite on those two-day trips, as well as some great bluefin tuna action, and who knows what else. So just another day on the Pride with Sean Roberts at a 22nd Street Landing. Another great one, no question about that. Catalina Island, boats that are driving to and fro, like boats that leave at 6 in the morning, Enterprise, Freelance, Native Sun, Pursuit, all those guys. Most days they're looking at the bluefin tuna. Once again, a couple days ago, they had some bluefin on board the Pursuit, mostly like 40-pound stuff. There's some bigger grade stuff running around, but it's pretty darn crazy that you can drive back and forth, as I've been telling you, and see bluefin most anywhere right now. I mean, we have fish down to the south, below the Mexican border, and then everywhere in between up to the Channel Islands. Pretty darn interesting stuff. Most of the boats at Catalina Island are getting a few bonita, getting some okay calico bass fishing. There's barracuda. There's good smorgasbord, but it's been scratchier for the most part. There's exceptions where it's very good, and there's exceptions when it's very poor, but for most guys, it's been there right in the middle. Nothing wrong with that. Channel Islands, the Endeavor the other day, limited out on white sea bass, and some of those guys up there have snuck off and been having really great sea bass fishing here the past couple of days. It's not for everybody. Many guys are missing up there in terms of the sea bass, but the thing about the Channel Islands is they can always fall back on some of the best rock fishing in California. Up there in the Channel Islands, Ventura Sport Fishing, as well as Cisco Sport Fishing in Oxnard. Those guys have been doing really good. Ventura, by the way, 805-676-3474. Tucker McCombs on the Endeavor, doing a great job. And of course, you got Steve Virtue on the California, which is the old Matt Walsh fishing half day out of Ventura. And then you got Cody Rogers on board the Island Spirit. That guy is one heck of a guy. Go back in the archives. I did a podcast with Cody live from the wheelhouse. You're going to like that. He's a knowledgeable young man, great fisherman, and he's been having some superior barracuda fishing here in the last week or so. We'll get to that in just a moment. So some pretty good fishing at the islands right now, and the weather is going to cooperate, so that's going to open the door to Nicholas again and Santa Barbara. It's already been hit, it looks like, by Sean Roberts on the Pride, but look for good sea bass fishing as we edge closer to August. A lot of people think to themselves, when's the best sea bass month? April, May, like that. No, it's really like July in a normal year. The water is at a point where it's warm enough, they're spawning, they're active, and they're biting, and we've seen some good sea bass fishing again here in the last 24 hours. All right, let me move you up and down the coast and then talk a little surf fish with you. Up and down the coast, down there, the Premier continues to do really well on the sand bass. with limits of sand bass again. So very good fishing going on. A little dropper loop with some 15, 20 pound working well, but some fish on the hookup baits, plastic lures working well. It's been an excellent bite down there in that neck of the woods. Moving you up the coast, Dana and surrounding areas picking at the bass, a few halibut here and there, barracuda, not a lot, but a few in that neck of the woods also. And then we move you up here to this neck of the woods and better bass fishing. A good friend, Marcus Fane. He was on board the City of Long Beach yesterday, and he had a limit of sand bass, a limit of calico bass. I don't know how you can beat that. That is some really good fishing. Of course, he was fishing in the flukes with a 1/2 ounce dart head, and that was very effective for Marcus. He's a superior fisherman, really, really good stick. So you're gonna have to really work hard to catch up to him. Marina del Rey, Redondo, sculpin rockfish, but also some bass, occasional sea bass, a little bit of barracuda, mostly still focused on that bottom stuff. Nothing wrong with that. Up there, as we move you up into the Channel Islands, we continue to see good barracuda fishing. For the most part, a little dip here and there, but for the most part, excellent on board the Island Spirit. Surface iron working really, really well. And I'll tell you, Cody Rogers has been putting the wood to the garden. He also kicks in, you know, some whitefish and rockfish and that kind of stuff, in addition to the gar up there biting on those surface irons. Coral Sea, Santa Barbara, with some excellent rock fishing, and it's not past them to get a barracuda bite. They've got their eyes open. Who knows, one of those guys up there is going to get a bluefin tuna again very, very soon. We've already had one in the Channel Islands, but as I said, that bluefin may not be biting everywhere, and for the most part, it's been very fickle this year, but it certainly is everywhere, and we'll continue to watch that. All right, surf fishing wise, good Corvina fishing in a lot of locations right now on the Southern California beaches. You can stock those fish. You need a good pair of polarized glasses to see those little devils, and then casting a natural bait like a sand crab or a ghost shrimp, sandworm is a good way to make that happen. My friend Fish, fishing in his little hotspot secret area, he had some nice Corvina, yellowfin croaker, and spotfin croaker yesterday, fishing somewhere around San Pedro. Top secret. He's not letting anyone know, and I don't blame him. All right, everybody, and as I mentioned previously, I'll be here on these beaches in just another hour, so I think high tide's around 10 today, something like that. So I'll be taking a look at that, seeing if I can't come up with something for you. And then tonight, Mauricio Lopez, the great captain of the Clemente out of Dana War Sport Fishing, he will be joining us. It's gonna be fantastic. Can't wait to have him on, learn more about him and learn more about what's going on bite-wise down in that neck of the woods and elsewhere. All right, the rooster is back. Albacore on the California border. Will it happen this year? I say yes. I'm going down with my ship like any good captain. And of course, we've got that great kelp patty action and so much more. Show descriptions got our final charters for 2022. I would sincerely love to fish with you for a couple of days or that day trip out of H&M Landing on the Malihini. Look forward to that. Can't thank you enough for our soaring statistics, and I'll see you again really, really soon. Time for me to get this on the air for you and then get down to the beach to meet Eddie Leland and Bob Gifford to do some surf fishing. All right, thanks again, everybody. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you. Appreciate it very much, and I'll see you again really, really soon.